and welcome to another night of the Best Boys Center Ice Podcast 2025 Stanley Cup Playoff Wrap-Up Show. It's going to be night two of the second round of the playoffs. A couple of games tonight. One in Washington against Carolina, and then the Oilers in Vegas. Before we get started, we're going to just say thank you very much to everybody who has watched and viewed the past shows, and you can get all the shows. They're all updated now as of today on our Best Boy Center Ice Podcast YouTube channel. You can get all of those shows available on our YouTube channel on the Refocus Radio Network. You can also find Shemaya Reed's I Am Refocus Radio on there, as well as Sweep the League with Rudy Campos Jr. Rudy taking care of the NBA for us. And we take care of the Stanley Cup playoffs as they're on simultaneously, as they always do. But tonight, we were for a couple of games. Carson is joining me, of course, and we'll start with the first game tonight: Carolina in Washington against the Caps, and
Carolina owned that game.
Oh yeah, definitely, Carolina definitely owned the game. It was close. All the way through. We both kind of said that we thought Washington wasn't going to have the complete. I thought Carolina.
I had Washington winning this game tonight. I thought they were going to win it.
Yeah, and
it just didn't work out that way.
Washington had more of the firepower, but in the end, it was 1-1. No scoring in the first period. Both teams traded goals in the second and third period. Yep. And then we go into overtime, right? And I had already switched over because they had switched over the Oilers game, Oilers Vegas game. And 3 minutes in, another typical overtime, early overtime goal. A shot from the point from Jacob Slavin that found its way through. It didn't hit anybody. It just was a shot from the point that should have been stopped, and it went through. And now all of a sudden, Carolina did what they needed to do. They got the first win in that series and take home ice away from Washington.
Yep, and then I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to try something else that we haven't tried with this updated version of StreamYard, but I'm going to try to pull up a screen share of the final stats from that game.
Okay. And all in all, really good game. But yeah, Carolina outplayed.
Can you see it? All right, so we have, there's the stats. I know they're pretty tiny. Let me try to see if I can zoom it. If not, we'll go ahead and read those as we have them. For right now, I'll work on that for next time. But as we have it on this, let's take a look and see. Okay. So I don't think I'll be able to change that. But anyways, we'll go back to where we were. All right. So stats as they go. So the Canes won this game 2-1 in overtime. As Dad said, Jacob Slavin scores the game winner. So in this game, the Carolina Hurricanes, you look at here, I know it's a bit tiny, but the Canes dominated this game. I mean, pretty much from head to toe. They outshot Washington by more than a 2-1 margin in this game. And, Carolina had 34 shots, Washington had 14. So that's nearly double. Penalty minutes, pretty even. No power play goals were scored in this game, but they had more takeaways. They won more faceoffs.
They had more hits.
They had more hits, but very little. I mean, only 5-3 is what it's looking like for this one. So, I mean, just a dominating win for Carolina to take game one, especially on the road in Washington, division rival team. That's the way you start it right there. So good on them to get that done. Big win for them, and they lead in this series 1-0 right now. And then what I'm going to do while you're going forward.
It's like if you're Washington, you're not going to win a hockey game only having 14 shots on net.
Nope.
You know, they had 5 in the first, 6 in the second, and three in the third.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
You're not gonna beat a team like Carolina. You're not going to beat anybody, but especially a team like Carolina when you're only having 14 shots on net. So you look ahead to game 2. You know Washington's going to come out, and they don't want to go down 0-2 and lose their first 2 games at home. So you know they're going to play tough. But Carolina's got, okay, you know what? We came here with what we wanted. We want more. We want to go into back to Raleigh with a 2-0 lead on the number 1 team in the East.
Absolutely.
And I'm still pushing Carolina on this one. I really think they can win that second game in Washington. It's going to be another close one. But if Washington doesn't double their shot total, at least double their shot total,
they're in trouble.
Win this game.
They're in trouble.
Big trouble. All right, so then we move on to
again. We don't have to talk about this one.
Oh yeah, we do. All right, Edmonton Oilers, Las Vegas Golden Knights. Last time they played 2 years ago. In the second round, and it went to 6 games. Vegas. This was the Aiden Hill season. Aiden Hill came in for Laurent Brossoit.
Laurent Brossoit.
He came in because Brossoit got injured, I think, in game 2 or 3.
Early on, it was very early.
Yeah, it was early, and Aiden Hill took over and literally went 3-1 in that series and eliminated the Oilers, and they went all the way to the Stanley Cup, playoff finals and won. So tonight in Vegas, they got home ice, and they got off to another
great start.
You know, Mark Stone on the power play, a double deflection, it was a 4-minute power play.
Yeah, you don't want to start that way.
No, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins got caught. It didn't look like it was intentional, but if you don't have control of your stick and you hit the player, and there was blood, it's 4 minutes. So they took care of the first half of that power play pretty quickly, and then later in the first period, Stone gets his 4th. And then and you're sitting there as an Oiler fan going, here we go again. We're down 2-0 in enemy territory. They're going to have to start pulling. But the Oilers did play better as the period went on. They did play better. They got 10. They each had 10 shots each, so they did play better in the first period. You get into nothing in the second period, but the key stat in the second period, and I don't know if people can see that up there. Vegas only had 1 shot on goal in 20 minutes. They only had 1 shot on goal, and the Oilers had 12. So Aiden Hill kept Vegas in this game.
Shots in the game looked to be 28-17 that Edmonton had. So that's a fairly big advantage. Obviously, after the start, again, not the way you want to start. They don't want to keep doing that where they're having to come from behind. Have they pretty much won every game from behind, haven't they? Except Game 5 against the Kings. That game they did come from behind in that one. Didn't LA score first in that game?
I think and
then Kuzmenko got a power play goal, and then the Oilers scored 3 straight. So they've come from behind every time. Every time they've
five wins in a row. And I forgot to mention Corey Perry did get a goal later in the first period. So they went into the second period 2-1 Vegas, and the Oilers just kind of took over the second period. And then third period comes along, and here's Vegas. They have to start pushing because they did nothing in the second period, and the Oilers come back with 3 unanswered goals. Leon Draisaitl early, which tied the game with 57 seconds. It's just one of those, it was the puck went over the net. Draisaitl banked it off of Aiden Hill's backside, and it went in. So it's one of those kind of goals, which is, may not be a fancy goal, but it's a goal that the Oilers will take any day of the week. And then so it was looking like, well, we're probably going to go to overtime. And then Zach Hyman came up at about 3 minutes.
3 minutes and 2 seconds left. Yeah,
and made it 3-1. And then a play that you mentioned, and we'll talk about it here. Connor Brown got the insurance goal with about a minute 45 left. And you were saying, yeah, he went in and did. He got himself a breakaway. He could have just dumped the puck in, and then because you know what, more than likely they were going to pull Hill, and then they would have had the empty net. But he went in and just made a fantastic move on Hill to score the fourth goal. But yeah, you were saying to me he could have easily dumped that puck in, but said no, I'm going.
Yeah, he could have.
And Connor Brown, I know last year he had a very tough year, but he's got some jump. He can get there. He's got some moves too. So, and he's already got, now that's his fourth goal of the playoffs. And the Oilers put it away. Calvin Pickard was there again. There's nothing he could have done on the first goal. On the power play, was a tip, and he probably should have gotten the second goal on Mark Stone. But he, again, is a player that doesn't let it get him rattled. And he just made stops when he needed to make stops. Like he wasn't busy in the second. So that's always a concern. Are you going to go cold in the third period? But he didn't. And the Oilers hold, and they win for the first time. They win game one of a series in I can't remember how long it's been, since 2023 maybe, that they won the first game of a series. And they did what they were supposed to do, much like Carolina did. They get home ice advantage. And that's, when you're playing a team like Vegas, you've got that in your back pocket now. You got to do the same thing that, you're thinking Carolina. You just got to keep pushing and we'll see what happens on, I guess it'll be Thursday night for the next game.
Yep.
And so just a great night of hockey. And tomorrow night, we've got another great night of hockey coming up. As we got two more games. Finally, we have tomorrow it'll be Florida and Toronto again, with Toronto leading 1-0. And that game will be a 6:00 start. And then the Stars and Jets get going in their second round series in Winnipeg. And that will be an 8:30 start for that game, as you can see right there on the screen. Let's go through it, Carr. Panthers need to come back and play a whole lot better in this game than they did.
They do.
They played the way they played in Toronto in game one. The Leafs will get this game again, but they have to be the Stanley Cup champions. They have to be that team that you don't want to play. That they have to win this game. I just think they really do have to win this game and get back to even with Toronto, because if they play like they did the other night, it's going to be another Leafs win.
Yep. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. They have to be ready from the start. And much like the Leafs are going to have to do the same thing, be ready from the start. Because again, Florida wins this game and it's fine. They go back home and they got home ice back. That's going to be an interesting game. I'm excited for the Dallas-Winnipeg game to see how that one unfolds there in Winnipeg. I think Dallas is going to I think both road teams win again tomorrow. I think Dallas and Florida. Yep, I think both road teams win tomorrow.
Yeah,
because
I think
Winnipeg has gone through a lot in the last couple of days. The highs and lows, obviously, of almost being eliminated, and then all the extra energy they had to put into that game just to get it done. I don't know. The only thing I can think of that could be a challenge is how Dallas had to probably travel decent ways last minute. Because the game was over on the 4th, and now they're having to flap to Winnipeg, get a practice or two in, and be ready. So that's going to be a good game. But yeah, I have both road teams winning tomorrow.
Yeah, I do too. So we'll be on the air probably about the same time tomorrow.
Yep.
Between 11 and 11:30, depending on overtime, of course.
Oh.
And we'll wrap things up. So again, tonight, Carolina beats Washington, take a 1-0 series lead. And Edmonton beats Vegas to take a 1-0 series lead in that one. So we had both road teams winning tonight, and we're saying both road teams are going to win tomorrow night. And you can always get the Best Boys Center Ice Podcast 2025 Stanley Cup Playoff wrap-up shows on YouTube, usually the next day. And you can get it on Spreaker as well for the audio part of it, Spreaker.com. And we try to update the TikTok as well. But again, we'll be on tomorrow night after the Jets Stars game, whenever that ends. Carson, always great to hear your insight, and I love the new graphics that we have and everything that you're able to do. He's doing the magic behind everything. I just sit here and he makes everything look good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up the show for tonight, and in the meantime, and in between time, everybody have a great hockey night.
Oh yeah, bye.
Bye, son.